Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures continued. Issue number 8 from IDW. My voice sounds off. It's because I'm sick. Again, crazy. I went years and years without ever getting sick, and now I've gotten sick twice in 2 months. Oh, it sucks. But this issue we're going to be dealing with some old enemies. We're taking a break from the ongoing storyline with Shredder and the meteorites. For anyone who's unfamiliar with that, I would recommend watching some of my previous videos. I've reviewed every single Ninja Turtle Saturday Morning Adventures continued issue, so you can check that out. But I'll just give you a brief run through. A meteorite fell from the sky. Krang and Shredder got their hands on it. It turns out that in the past, Shredder's ancestors was able to use this half of this meteorite to create the sword that can cut portals. And so Shredder is hoping to turn this meteorite into a sword that can cut portals open to other dimensions, specifically Dimension X. But we're taking a break from that. And instead, we're dealing with some old enemies. We start off with Wingnut and Screwloose, who are 2 aliens from the planet Flaganon. And they appear in an episode called like Zack and the Aliens, something like that. Anyone remember the character Zack? Zack, for anyone who doesn't know, Zack is a little child who is a huge fanatic of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and basically becomes like the 5th honorary member. Zack was like one of those characters that was kind of inserted for, I guess, the kids, which is weird because it's already a kids cartoon. But it's just one of those situations where Hollywood believes that, oh, kids need a character their own age so that they can look up to and that they can project themselves on and that they can, play as and stuff. And the thing is that kids don't do that. You throw a kid in with the Ninja Turtles and kids aren't going to be looking up towards that kids. Kids don't look up towards Zack. They don't want to emulate Zack. They want to emulate Raphael. They want to emulate Donatello, Leonardo. Same thing with like Star Wars. You have young Padawans, right? And it's like Hollywood's thinking, oh, kids are they're gonna see themselves as those young Padawans. No, kids see themselves as Luke Skywalker or Han Solo or Chewbacca or Princess Leia or whatever. It's just one of those things where it always kind of made me laugh because it just shows how out of touch Hollywood is, which is funny because I wouldn't say I'm Hollywood, but I'm a professional screenwriter myself. I've worked with Hollywood studios, and yeah, let me tell you that they are really out of touch. You think they're out of touch, but they're way more out of touch than you think. And Zack is just one of those characters that I think was just thrown in there because they thought, oh, we need someone for the kids to want to emulate. And it's like, Zack isn't that character. But enough about Zack. Let's get back to this comic. Yeah, Wingnut and Screwloose are 2 aliens, and they have kidnapped April. And they're going to try to take over the world using this machine. Meanwhile, the Turtles are fighting off these robots, trying to save April. And eventually, they're able to stop Wingnut and Screwloose. They basically just beat up the machines, destroy them. They hit Screwloose in the nose. Wingnut tries to activate the computer, but it doesn't work. It turns out that it's a dud. So they realize, okay, well, we're not going to be able to do anything today, so we're leaving. So they teleport out of there, and the Turtles celebrate. And there's like some fourth wall breaking throughout this. Like, for example, when they leave, Raphael yells, yeah, we'll see you at the next relaunch. So there's like a bunch of that, and there's a reason for that. And that's because of this other character that shows up, Og the Magnificent, or as he was called in the TV series, Mr. Og. And Mr. Og he's based off of Pee Wee Herman in terms of his looks and the way he talks. But he seems to have somewhat, like, his role is kind of that of like Q, in the sense that Og is a alien from Dimension Z, and he's basically like kind of childlike. He's always like pulling pranks and stuff like that. Basically, because he's all powerful, he's constantly bored, and so he's always looking for a way to cure his boredom. And that usually comes at the cost of the Turtles' expense. And so, he decides to ease his boredom this time by putting the Turtles through trial, and their crime is breaking the fourth wall. And so that's what most of this issue is. Most of the issue is just them on trial for breaking the fourth wall and trying to overcome that charge and just the shenanigans that happens, especially since they're kind of like in a kangaroo court since the jury, the judge, the bailiff, the lawyers are all Augs. It's just one of those just really weird, random kind of issues. I will say that the whole court thing doesn't last long. It's like the majority of the issue, kind of, but it doesn't really end. It just kind of like it gets to a point where Og is just bored of the court, so he just goes to the next step. So yeah, Og is just basically he's bored constantly, and he gets bored very easily, very quickly. And so the turtles have to kind of come up with a way to outsmart him so that they can get back to their dimension and get Og off their back for good. And so, yeah, they're coming up with a plan to try to trick him. I'm not going to spoil what it is because I'll have you read it for yourself. I will say it wasn't the greatest of plans. I mean, it works, but it just, I don't know. It seemed more like Og just became stupid for the sake of the story rather than the turtles actually came up with something brilliant to out trick him with. So that was kind of a disappointment. But again, like I'm looking at this from the eyes of an adult, and this is like, a kid's comic, even though I feel like it's kind of targeting the adults that grow up with the cartoon because there's a lot of references to it that kids won't understand unless they watch the cartoons. And I don't know how many kids are watching the 1980s Ninja Turtle cartoons. Hopefully, it would be a lot because that was a great series, but I just don't see it happening. But I don't know, I could be wrong. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't want to say I didn't. Yeah, I didn't really care for it too much. I never really found Og to be all that interesting of a character. Like I said, he's basically just kind of Q from Star Trek. I never really cared for Q. I know some people might like be aghast at that, but I just always found him more annoying than anything else. And I just feel like I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of ideas here, but they're not fully executed correctly. It feels like so we had Wingnut and Screwloose, but they were just kind of thrown away villains. They're more like cameos than anything. We have like the whole like courtroom session. It seemed like it was an idea. They threw it out there. They ran with it for a while, and then they got bored with that idea. Kind of like all got bored with it, and then they just moved on to the next thing. And then the next thing gets quickly ended as well, right? Like, so it just feels like okay, we're just kind of throwing stuff out there, and then we're throwing out obstacles, but then we're having the turtles overcome them pretty quickly. And then we're on to the next thing, but then that gets solved really quickly, and then on to the next thing, and then it gets solved kind of quickly. So it's kind of like, oh, okay. It would have been better if you had the entire issue just be the courtroom. In fact, one of the jokes is that in the very beginning of the episode, Raphael says that this story is in medias res, which anyone who doesn't know what that means, it means the middle of the story. When a story is in medias res, it means you're starting off in the middle. So the Odyssey, for example, we don't start off the Odyssey with Odysseus, on his property going to the Trojan War and stuff. We start off in the middle of his journey. So we start off with the turtles immediately in the middle of a fight with Wingnut and Screwloose, and they don't even know why they're there. They're just like, why are we here again? Why are we fighting these guys? Oh, right, April. And I was like, okay, you could have done that with just the courtroom. Just have them immediately in the courtroom. And then, one of them's kind of confused, like, why are we here again? And then Raphael could do the whole, like, fourth wall breaking. Oh, that's the problem with starting immediate res. Everyone is confused. And then all can come in and is like, that's exactly why you're here. It's because you keep breaking the fourth wall. And then we get the whole why they're there. It's because they're breaking the fourth wall, and Og is going to judge them for that. And the entire issue can just be them in the courtroom, and it looks like they're basically going to lose because it's a kangaroo court in a sense, right? Like everyone is Og. So how are they going to defeat Og when Og is the judge, jury, bailiff, and even their own lawyer? And then the ending of the issue can be they come up with some idea to trick Og and then they win their court case, and they get sent back home. That could have been the entire issue, and that would have been kind of cool. But instead, it feels more like we're just throwing a bunch of ideas, and then we roll with them for a little while, and then we're just on to the next idea. And it's just kind of like, oh, okay. That just kind of, it basically, it very much feels like an ADD issue in the sense that, like, we get something, we go with it for a little while, and it's like the writer got bored, so then he's on to the next idea. And then we roll with that for a while, and then he got bored, and then we're on to the next idea. It's like, yeah, that could kind of work because Og is like that, but I think it just would have worked a lot better if the entire issue was just the whole courtroom. And I don't know. I think you could have done something interesting with the turtles in a court, room kind of story. Like, I don't know if that's been done before. Been forever since I've watched the cartoons. I don't think it's ever been done in the cartoons. Maybe one of the comics. Can't remember. But yeah, the turtles go to court. That could be like a really interesting idea if done right. And I don't feel like it really was. So yeah, I found this issue kind of disappointing. And I don't know. I know like a lot of my reviews tend to be pretty good for the most part. And I've said this before, but in case anyone's like unfamiliar, I go out of my way to try to find good comics. I am completely aware of the fact that the comic book industry sucks. Don't get me wrong. It absolutely blows. It is so freaking hard to find good comics. Especially like from the big two. That's why you almost never see any stuff from the big two here. It's because the big two, the comics absolutely just suck ass. So it's why I've been like drifting more towards manga. I mean, I've been drifting towards manga for the longest time. That's why you're seeing more manga stuff on the channel, and you'll probably see more manga and less comics eventually at some point. I feel like once I'm like the comics that I am reading now, once they're done, I'll probably just stop with comics. I don't know, unless you guys can like find me some good stuff. But I'm having trouble with that. What I'm trying to say is because I'm purposely going my way to try to find good comics, most of my reviews tend to be pretty good, like good scores. Because, like I said, I'm going on my way to try to find good comics. I'm trying to find comics that I'm interested in, that look good, that I think I will enjoy. And sometimes I find ones that, I thought were going to be good, but they ended up not being good at all. It's kind of rare, but it happens. This happens to be one of those moments. It wasn't a terrible issue, but it wasn't a good issue either. I didn't really care for it. I would give it, I don't know, maybe a 4 out of 10. Like, it's not an average. It's below average. It's not terrible, but it's not like, if I knew that this was what we were going to get, I wasn't like interested in collecting every single issue, I would skip this. Because again, this is also just like, this is a filler issue anyways, so it doesn't contribute to the ongoing story of Shredder and Krang and the meteorite sword. There's no ongoing plot holes or anything that this thing wraps up. There's nothing new that this thing brings to the table. It's a pretty forgettable issue, which is a shame. Because, like I said, this series overall has been pretty good. Really entertaining, at least for me. But this issue just wasn't it. I feel like it could have been good, just had the whole thing be focused on the court case. And then the trickery. Like, you have the turtles come up with some kind of trick to win their case. You could even build up the drama. You can build up drama and comedy at the same time by having moments where Og is bringing up, like, as evidence, where the turtles are breaking the fourth wall. And you can have like humor in that. You can even have the turtles breaking the fourth wall as they're trying to show their innocence, that they don't break the fourth wall. So you could have had that. And then the drama, I say drama, but it's a kid's, as much drama as you can have like in a kid's story. The drama is the fact that with every page, it's looking more and more and more like the turtles are going to lose. Like, there's no way they're going to be able to win this. And then you can have, like I said, the triumphant ending, where the turtles come up with some kind of way to outsmart Og, win their case, and then to go home. There you go. But instead, we got feels like just a bunch of ADD writing. So yeah, it wasn't all that great. It's kind of a shame. There you go. There's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Saturday Morning Adventures continued, issue number 8 from IDW. Usually I like to do 2 videos on Fridays, 2 comic book reviews. But I think I'm only going to be doing this one just because, like I said, I'm still sick. And yeah, I'm just not really feeling up to doing another video. So I'll probably just do this video for Friday. And that'll be it. But hopefully things will get back to normal next week. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Share me your thoughts. What do you think? Do you, if you read this issue yourself, do you like what they did with it, or do you prefer my idea where the entire thing is just a court case? Even if you didn't read it yourself, would you have preferred that? And yeah, if you got any recommendations, let me know. I always check them out. Anytime someone gives me recommendations, like last time someone gave me a recommendation for, I believe it was Firepower, and I binged that whole thing. That was pretty good. So yeah, if you got recommendations, let me know. I always try to check them out when I have the free time for it. And like if I don't have the free time for it, it goes on the list and I'll get to it eventually. So I don't ever ignore your recommendations. But yeah, I'm kind of rambling. Let's just end this. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe. Hit that bell for a notification. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far. And I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see. And I hope to see you guys next time. Later.